All right, so with the big Fed meeting tomorrow, everyone is wondering how Powell and company will react to recent comments and actions from President Trump. Now, some former Fed officials, let's just say, not enamored, right? Op-ed in the Wall Street Journal titled Critical Look at Trump's Economic Plan. This is by former Vice Chair Alan Binder. What bothers me is the way it starts off. The second presidency of Donald Trump is off to a wild start amid the freeing of violent criminals, attacks on DEI and affirmative action, and the violation of the Constitution. This is a Federal Reserve official, folks. I mean, golly, he did go on to say, well, I'm an economist, so I'll stick to those. Give me a break. Now, despite those venomous words, my next guest says that current members of the Fed are actually warming up to Trump. So joining me now, Wellington-Altus Private Wealth Chief Market Strategist Jim Thorne. I mean, looking at this, there's a guy over at Bloomberg, used to be on the Fed. He hates Trump. I mean, there's some Fed folks, particularly under the Biden Fed, that probably don't like President Trump. But you think they're all kind of warming up to him?
Sure. Blinder is a Keynesian. Trump is a libertarian, and he loves Milton Friedman. We have got to expect these folks at the Fed that are Keynesian, are extreme progressive lefts, to freak out at Trump's policies when they're moderate. Okay, it is. So what you're getting is you're getting Waller, you're getting Williams, and you're getting Goolsbee trying to walk back. Yes.
Really?
And so what they're talking about is, look, a lot of the stuff that the Fed is talking about, like tariffs, are inflationary. No, they're not.
Right.
Increase in productivity leads to an increase in the natural rate of interest. No, it doesn't. It's a decline. So these guys have got to start pushing back because their reputation is at risk because they're not following third-year macroeconomics.
So let me pick up on that because Scott Bessent was approved yesterday, right? He got in confirmed as next Treasury Secretary. A fair amount of Dems voted for him, and from what I'm reading is that they think he'll moderate Trump on tariffs, get us in gradually on the tariff system. What do you think?
He's talked about it moderate, right? So Trump and Bessent, they think it's a great revenue generator.
Right.
He wants it to be moderate. The thing about Bessent is he teaches economic history at Yale. He understands where we are in history. And so what I look at is if there's somebody that we need as a Secretary of Treasury, it's a guy like this. And once his testimony...
By the way, he's also made a lot of money in the private sector. So he's not just someone who teaches this stuff. He understands how it works in real life.
He attacked the UK pound with Soros and against the gold peg.
Right.
The guy knows what he's talking about. And when you listen to him, the interesting thing is it's logical, it's thoughtful, and it's centrist. And when he was going through his testimony, you know what was interesting? Yields peaked. The bond vigilantes breathed a sigh of relief.
Right.
The dollar started coming off the boil.
Right.
We have an adult in the room.
Right.
No more do we have Janet Yellen and the progressive left spending money hand over fist. So I'm very bullish on his appointment.
Or issuing debt to try to tilt an election that only ended up costing American taxpayers extra money they didn't have to spend. I want to ask you about taxes, though. Ending income tax. Of course, we didn't have income tax until 1913. President Trump talks about this a lot. Is it feasible? I mean, I love it, but is it feasible?
Why not getting it down to 15%? You've been on this. I've been on this. This is America 2.0. This is going back to the 1800s.
Right.
This is Alexander Hamilton. This is McKinley. This is using tariffs for revenue generation and protecting U.S. industries. Mr. Trump is going to follow through and do what he says he's going to do. He's a man of his word. Nobody should be surprised.
Speaking of which, there was just a really, great press conference and a lot of questions about this, freezing federal loans and grants. It seems to me, Jim, that President Trump is going after the bureaucracy. You've got to be able to break that up if indeed you're going to drain the swamp and get the government to work on behalf of the American public, right?
Yes, and so why is Wall Street, why do they pin him with he's not friendly to the deficit? This guy's going to stop the unbridled, crazy spending in Washington. I mean, where is the common sense?
Before I let you go, you're also an advocate for a federal Bitcoin reserve.
Yes, it solves the debt problem.
It really does.
It does. And so when you think about what it does in terms of backing, if we back Bitcoin by the U.S. dollars and U.S. treasuries through stable coins, we solve the problem. The Bitcoin standard replaces the petrodollar standard. And here's the interesting thing. I didn't come up with this idea. It was Paul Ryan, and he wrote about it last year. All I'm doing is basically putting myself on the shoulders of Paul Ryan's op-ed that was happening last year, the ex-Speaker of the House. And by the way, Charles, Mr. Ryan and Mr. Trump don't like each other.
Right. But you know what? When it comes to solving America's problems, sometimes people get together.
They do. Thanks
Good
a lot.
stuff, my man. As usual, always.